2020 was certainly a year to remember, with all the social unrest and the ongoing pandemic causing chaos around the world. The virus brought many deaths, separated many families, created anxiety, and a declined economy. Many people found safe haven through outdoor activities, including myself and family. I feel really fortunate that I was able to do all the things that I love during these trying times. I've gone through my channel and picked out highlights from each trip throughout 2020, as well as some bonus clips. Hope you enjoy. 2020 started out like many other years. Winter brought an abundance of snow to the area. In fact, it was the third snowiest winter on record. I really embrace all the snow though, and I was able to get a few winter camping trips in to start the new year. On my first trip, I found a nice secluded spot to set up camp in the Wisconsin wilderness. It was just an overnighter, but much needed during the dead of winter. Not all of my adventures make it to my YouTube channel. On this one, I head back to the Boundary Waters canoe area for some hot tent camping. Even though I managed to get some footage of the trip, I had a problem with my SIM card, so I lost a lot of the clips. Here's a little taste of what I did manage to capture. The Boundary Waters canoe area wilderness in northern Minnesota is one of my favorite places. The track through the snow was quite challenging, but I made it to a nice spot overlooking the lake. Clearing a footprint to the camp was my first order of business. Next, I set up the Snow Tracker hot tent, collect some firewood, and prepare for what would be a very cold first night. The wind picked up overnight, dropping temps well below zero. I warmed up with a hot breakfast and some coffee before setting out to do a little exploring. By the time I returned to camp, it was an all-out blizzard. Can't even tell if it's snowing or if it's just blowing off all the trees. I'm gonna get this fire going, it's too cold. So I hunkered down and fired up the wood stove. The hot tent held strong through the blizzard as I sat nice and warm with some good food to cook up. That smells so good. I made it out fine the next day and overall had a couple really nice nights in the hot tent. I hope to recover some of the footage so I can provide a full trip report soon. With winter coming to an end, we have one more chance at some ice fishing before the thaw. Good luck terms with this summer. It's become a tradition now to get our family together for this annual ice fishing tournament. Even if the fish ain't biting, we always have a good time and the kids seem to really enjoy themselves. By early spring, the virus had rapidly spread across our country. Like most others, I was sent home from work. I figured if I had to social distance, what better way to do it than in the piney woods. I set up camp at Pattison State Park in northern Wisconsin. Once I got settled in, I checked out some of the hiking trails throughout the park, as well as Big and Little Manitou Falls. Big Manitou Falls is Wisconsin's largest waterfall, dropping 165 feet. So I just got back from my hike, and looks like the DNR was here and put a sign on my post here. Like so many other businesses, the campground has now closed due to COVID-19. Determined not to let this ruin my day, I tear down and decide to head to the section of the North Country Trail that I maintain. I hope everybody's doing okay with this stupid virus. I've been locked up for a week and a half. They sent me home from work. I arrived at the campsite with not a lot of daylight left, so I quickly gathered some fire. The sunset over the Croix River Valley was beautiful, and I enjoyed a nice, relaxing night by the campfire. With the arrival of warm weather, it was time to introduce our new dog, Rizzo, to backpacking, so we set out on the Ice Age Trail. As we settled into our campsite, something strange has captured Rizzo's attention. To a young pup, everything in the world seems strange and must be investigated. I bought Riz a new tent for the occasion, and, well, she thought that was a little strange as well. I think you're supposed to go inside of it, Rizzo. As it turns out, Riz is no ground dweller. She didn't like the tent and insisted on spending the night with me in the hammock. Well rested, she was ready to hit the trail running. We met up with some of her friends and hiked around 12 miles in all. She did great. We brought our canoes out for the first time of the year on the night of July 4th, where we met up with my brother and his family. It was a perfect night with the full moon reflecting off the water and a great view of the fireworks. We had some big plans for an East Coast vacation, but with the COVID restrictions still in place, we had to adjust. We figured the old Acorn camper would be our safest means of travel. So we were off on a road trip. The highlights for me were traveling through the Straits of Mackinac on the Upper Peninsula of Michigan and the rustic roads of Vermont. We arrived in Maine and settled into our cabin up north. What a perfect way to isolate. Riz was glad to be off the road and enjoyed the breeze flowing through the cabin. The kids loved having the pontoon to swim off, and after isolating, we were able to enjoy the company of friends. I really wanted to hike to the summit of Mount Katahdin, but those plans appeared in jeopardy with the virus still lingering. So I decided a day hike in the White Mountains would have to do. So we've come to the first real good overview here, White Mountain. Good girl. Yes. Yes. Up. Good. This was the first mountain hike for Riz. She was really scared at the river crossings at first, and she got off her leash one time, which caused a little scare. But other than that, she did really well. Unfortunately, my next hike would be much too dangerous to bring Riz along. Just in time, Baxter State Park lifted its restrictions, giving me the green light for an adventure of a lifetime. I set up camp for a few nights at Chimney Pond, a gorgeous place with a backdrop of my destination, one goal, Summit Katahdin. Katahdin is the northern terminus of the Appalachian Trail. As I neared Baxter Peak, I felt a great deal of accomplishment. I can only imagine how it must feel to all those Appalachian Trail thru-hikers. After backpacking for months covering 14 states, 2,190 miles, what a reward it must be. The knife edge is the most spectacular feature of Katahdin. It is a glacially formed feature having no equal in the Appalachian Mountains. The route on the knife edge is very exposed. Within a few feet on either side of the trail is a sheer drop of 2,000 plus feet. Several people have died or have been seriously injured while attempting this trail in bad weather or high winds. Easy part's done, now it's time to go back down. It ain't gonna be too easy in the joints, but man, I'm so glad I made this trip. With the virus still spreading across the country, we face more problems. The George Floyd incident in Minneapolis sparked outrage, calling for police reform brought on by racial injustices. Many peaceful protests turned to riots throughout the country in 2020. If you follow the channel, you may have noticed that it's missing this year's video in the St. Croix series. For the last few years, our family's gotten together to do a new section every year of the St. Croix National Scenic Riverway until we finish at the confluence of the Mississippi.
Kevin got the big one of the day. Pretty sure it's not really caught legally. That looks like it's been gilled.
It's bait now.
Somebody help me. Help me.
Let's see what the first catch here. He's running. We did do a section this year, however my wife hurt her back and wasn't able to join us. She really wants to paddle every stretch of this river, so we decided to do a section this year and then come back again next year with her along to continue. I didn't get much video for that reason, but look for the series to continue next summer. With the fall colors nearing peak, my brother and I set off for some backpacking along the North Country Trail in Wisconsin. Hey guys, just getting underway here, leaving Wren Falls. I'm with Carrie, you can see him back there. We're gonna do about 7-8 miles. We camped at an undeveloped campsite right next to Wren Falls. So you can see my hammock set up over there. Nice site, but we're gonna get towed out. With the river, lakes, creeks, and waterfalls, this trail was quite scenic. There was even some overlooks of the old Pinocchio mountain range. Some interesting history as the trail went right through an old gold mining site. This was a really great fall hike, and we finished our trip at Foster Falls near the Michigan border. The virus had really spiked in our area by late fall, and it became evident that we would have to cancel all of our holiday gatherings. I really missed seeing family, but I welcomed the record heat we were experiencing, and I got the acorn out one last time before the snow started flying. Riz and I went out and did some hiking, and later cooked up some really good food over the campfire.
Give these a flip. Oh yeah.
Yep, and this is the only time that Kevin ever cooks is when he's camping, so.
Missy came out for a visit as well. Turned out to be a nice late season getaway. With all the problems that 2020 presented, I'm grateful that I was still able to turn it into one epic year filled with some pretty great adventures. As this year comes to an end and a vaccine is near, I want to wish everyone a very safe and happy 2021. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you again soon. If you like these highlights, you can find the full-length video on my channel. And be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of our future adventures.